Hello and welcome back to my garden. In today's video, we're planting beans, specifically bush beans. I'm going to be planting them in the front left corner of this garden bed. You can see I already have the rest of my vegetables in this garden bed planted. We have an eggplant here in the corner, cucumbers along the back. We have a gold nugget, a small tomato right here, a larger big beef hybrid tomato in the back corner. The eggplant is a black beauty eggplant, gorgeous, beautiful, large eggplants. We've got some lettuce in the middle, some basil. So overall, this garden bed is great. We just need to fill in the front corner of this garden bed with bush beans. I have a couple of different varieties here. We have some green beans, yellow beans, and purple beans. So it's going to look really, really pretty here in the front of this garden bed. I already planted some bush beans elsewhere in my garden. Let me show you what it's going to look like when everything is planted and set up. This is another one of my garden beds in the backyard. This one sits right in front of my deck that goes off into the kitchen. I have some bush beans planted right here. You can see they're covered. First of all, I have some posts with some twine, and that is going to stay. That is just to help give the beans a little bit of support because they do get heavy and loaded down with lots and lots of beans. So they do need a little bit of support so they don't blow over. So I've added these posts with some twig. Now it's covered with green netting because of the critters. When they're small seedlings like this, I find that the bunnies tend to eat them down. That's what happened to my beans last year. So in order to prevent that from happening this year, I've covered them with green netting. Now, once they get a little bit larger, I'll take the green netting away and they should be fine. But just while they're getting established in the soil, I planted these yesterday. While they're getting established in the soil, I'm going to keep them covered so the squirrels can't dig them up and so the bunnies can't eat them down. But you can see I have the rest of this garden bed planted as well. We have some scarlet runner beans in both corners. We have a pepper here in this corner, a few more peppers right here, some tomatoes along the back, and a smaller bush beefsteak tomato right there in the left corner. You can see I'm slowly getting the rest of my garden beds planted. This one's been planted for a couple of weeks with broccoli and lettuce. This one has not yet been planted up, and this one's getting there. We're going to be finishing this one off today, but we've got some peppers in the front. We've got some tomatoes in the back. I'm going to plant another tomato in the back corner. We're going to put a zucchini right there, and we're going to have a hole here. I need to figure out what I'm going to put there. Going back to this garden bed, I'm going to be putting tomatoes in the back here. We're going to be putting cucumbers and beans, pole beans, or maybe scarlet runner beans in the back left corner over there, cucumbers right there, zucchini in the front. Again, I have some space. I love having space, but I need to figure out what I'm going to put there. And then if you scroll along this way, this is where the beans are going to be planted. So all of these garden beds get a lot of sun in the afternoon. It is clouded over here today. There is no sun. It was raining this morning. Hopefully the rain holds off. We'll see. The first thing we need to do over here is set up those posts, get them in place. Then we're going to plant the beans. Then we'll add the twine, and then we'll add the netting. So let's get started. The first thing we're going to do is plant our posts so that we know the planting area in which we need to plant our beans, because the netting is going to go around them. So we're going to plant in this area right here. And we're going to use 6 posts. So I've realized that after placing the posts, this lettuce is kind of in the way and it's not going to have the room it needs to grow. So I'm actually going to move the lettuce. I'm going to move the lettuce to the other side of this green support, and that should help give it enough space. I was hoping that the tomato and the cucumbers would give it the shade it needs for the lettuce to thrive just a little bit longer. So we'll see how that goes. I can always move it again if I need to. But first things first, we're going to move that lettuce a little bit to the right. I actually decided that I'm going to add the twine before I plant. I think that'll just be a little bit easier to get the twine around the posts. So let's do that first. The twine is here just to give the beans a little bit of support so they don't completely flop over as they grow. They can get heavy when they get loaded down with tons of beans. We're going to put 8 plants in this spot, 2, 4, 6, 8. I think that'll be great. It'll be full, but it'll be really, really good. They're bush beans. They don't get too high, a few feet high. They stay low to the ground. They're great for the front of the raised bed. They're a great summer crop. They love the warm temperatures. They thrive. They grow super, super fast, and the harvest is abundant. We're going to start over here. We're going to dig a hole. I've already amended the soil. The soil has fresh potting mix, fresh raised bed mix, which is really nice and light and fluffy. It's moist because it's been raining. I've been watering this bed. It's not going to get too compact, which is something you want to avoid when you're growing in raised beds. You want to make sure that your soil has really good aeration. Water can drain through really well, so you want to make sure you're using the proper soil. There's many ways to make your own soil, which is just a mixture of topsoil or garden soil, peat moss, vermiculite, a little bit of fertilizer, and that works really well. But I just needed to top up my raised bed, so I just used pre-bagged soil, which is great. I mixed in a little bit of fertilizer as well. So all we need to do here is dig our hole. You want to flip your pot upside down to get it out of there. Gently squeeze the bottom and it pops right out. Beautiful, beautiful roots. Not root bound at all, ready to go in the ground. You want to plant at soil level, not too deep. Backfill with the soil around it. Press it in lightly and you're good to go. We're going to plant the other one right here in front of it. Dig your hole. Tip it upside down. Squeeze. Perfect. Another great, beautiful plant. Pop it down there. Backfill with your soil. Press it down lightly. And they're in there. Beautiful. Because these seed cells have 2 plants per cell, I'm actually only going to plant 6 of them instead of 8 of them, because for the most part we are doubling up the plants anyways. We're digging another hole. This is a beautiful purple bean. Beautiful. Put it in there. Dig another one in the front. Another purple bean. This is the royal burgundy bush bean. Pop it in the soil. Dig another hole right here. We're going to add 2 more. This is either a green or a yellow bean. Let's dig that hole a little deeper. There we go, and we'll put 1 more right here in the front. Dust the soil off that kind of got on the leaves there. And our beans are planted. The last step is to well, there's 2 steps left. We're going to water this in with some water-soluble fertilizer, and then we're going to add the netting. The granular fertilizer that I added in the soil is a slow-release fertilizer. It'll help feed the plants over time throughout the gardening season. The water-soluble fertilizer that I'm using is a quick-release fertilizer, and it'll help feed the plants immediately so that they can get off to a nice strong start here after being transplanted. Sometimes when you transplant, your plants can get a little stunted. So you just want to make sure you water these in well. and they should do just fine. I'm going to use this multi-purpose garden netting. This is going to cover the plants perfectly, just like with the beans we saw earlier in the video. It's going to help protect the beans from the critters, from getting chewed down, from getting dug up from the squirrels. But the sun is still able to get through so that we're not blocking the sun. They will still grow great. And then once the beans are better established and a little bit bigger, I can remove the netting. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe if you like this video and share it with a friend so that they can learn too. I'll see you in the next video. Bye friends!